Thank you, Mr. Ward, for that intro. So let's get into it. Again, my name is Wardy Ward, and I'm going to be your cool captain on a What's Up Award flight today. So get in, buckle up, hold on tight, because we're about to get there and go there in this episode. Please remember to hit that like, subscribe, and follow button. That helps us help you help each other, all right? Now, my guest today is a young male of the global majority who has a powerful story to tell. He's multi-talented and destined for great things. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Dumante Walters to the What's Up Award Lab today. How you doing, bro?
I'm all right. How we doing today, Ward?
Man, you know I'm doing okay. As young people say, I'm delicious. So before we get started, bro, tell me a little bit about yourself. What city you live in, what you currently doing, how many sisters, brothers you got, and what size shoe you wear.
Currently in Indianapolis, which I'm a Chicago boy, if that matters to people. I'm actually enrolled in Full Sail University, a bachelor's program for audio engineering right now.
Okay.
2-year course. I'm 9 months through, so I'm stopping. I'm just pushing it, I'm taking it day by day. I'm surprised it's actually going that fast. I actually have, like 7 siblings.
What? 7? See,
2 on my mom's side, 2 on my, or 8 siblings, maybe 9 in total. I lose count.
Number going higher.
They all on my daddy's side.
So always blaming the dad. Always blaming the dad.
Look now, and I'm the oldest on both sides, so we got that. You know, I'm always gonna have that title, and them people, if they want to buy me shoes, they can give me a size 13, you know.
Size 13, yeah. You know, I got some 13s. I got you. So yeah. All right. So and how old are you now? I would guess you about 24 to 25. One of those two.
25. Turned that on.
25. Okay. 25. So do you feel young or do you feel older? Where you at on that scale?
Man. It seemed like the energy shifts from day to day. Sometimes I feel young and vibrant. Other days I feel like I'm not getting out of bed today.
Yeah, wow. Old 25. Wow. Okay.
It also comes with the mental, like you know, that's just my physical state sometimes. Like mentally, I feel like I'm ahead of my time. I feel like I blend in better with an older crowd. I'm like I told one of my friends, I always feel like that I'm the leader in the group. You know, sometimes I want to backseat, learn something.
You know, like I told you the other day, I said that hey, you're the smartest person in the room. Got to get new friends. That's what I always say. But then Drake told you otherwise. So hey, real the motto. So Dumante, tell us, what's a typical day like for you? What does it start? What do you do? Get up, eat your breakfast, run out, save the world. What's it like for you,
bro? Well, right now I'm working from home, working at Cutco.
Okay, Cutco. So, yeah, that's a knife company, right?
Yeah. Number 1 knife selling company in the world, Craig. You know, not just knives, kitchen sets, garden tools, barbecue equipment, things like that. Actually, I spend most of the day making phone calls to see if I can set up demos, which are presentations, and I get paid for those alone. So you know, if anybody's ever interested, we can definitely get that set up. And also on top of that, just things that I do personally. I mean, I'm such a like you said, multi-artistic person. I got digital designs that I work on, NFTs. That I just finished up. I'm actually working on one of my scripts for my TV series that I'm making.
TV.
Oh yeah, man. I gotta do something. I want to see myself out there, not just, you know, as who I am, but like I did that, you know, like, you know, I want
yeah, absolutely.
I also have photography in my repertoire. I was tattooing for a couple of years, but I haven't done it in a couple of years. Obviously, I'm making my own music now. I can ghostwrite for others. Yeah, man, I've recorded a few sessions thus far, and just keeping the ball rolling. I like to be creative and productive, and I just strive to be somebody that's resourceful.
Yeah, I see that. So you said you're doing music. Is that rap music, R&B, rock? What type of music are you doing?
I guess if it rhyme, you can you can call it rap.
Okay.
I think I have a lot of different flows, different flows, and I'm very versatile. So I don't like to classify and label it as one thing. So
Okay.
I can
Okay.
I
I
can make
understand.
a nice gospel song if I really put my heart to it. Yeah,
Mhm. What they got, a twerking for Jesus, stuff like that. Yeah,
a gospel song with a trap beat.
there you go. Got some talking about. You got to appeal to everybody nowadays. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So tell me this. A friend of mine just told me that their spouse came down with COVID, and that
Mhm.
was today. So I think we're still in the middle of COVID in this thing. How did you fare during this time of COVID? Did it affect you at all? Did you get it, or you just
Uh,
impervious?
I never got COVID, honestly, that I know of.
Yeah, I didn't either.
That I know of at least. But I was working at Menards during the time of COVID, and it was spooky. It was spooky times. They were sending out letters like only essential workers can be on the road and
Yeah.
get paid more for being here. And all the tissue was gone, all the water was gone. Like people was preparing for something. So I guess we didn't have no choice but to. I didn't have a choice but to work through it. Bills
Mhm.
stop, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah. So did you kind of think it was a real thing? You thought it was a conspiracy thing? What was your thoughts on COVID? I know a lot of people have crazy views on that, man.
I feel like my opinion on COVID really, it's like I can see both sides. You know what I mean? I can see how it is real, but at the same time, I don't understand how this vaccine is helping anything if people can still catch it. You know,
Man,
and
man,
it's like
man.
now you cough, everything is COVID. You got a headache, everything.
Right.
Like, like
Yes. Yeah.
honestly, it was okay for like the little money they were sending out. Like that was probably the peak of it. It opened more work from home jobs.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? It just gave people a chance to be at home with their family more. So there was good upsides from it, but the downside is now everybody's scared to interact, you know. So now,
Right. Yeah.
people want to stay far away from people, and we growing further apart as a people, as a nation.
Yeah.
So good.
Well, it's a good point. Good point you said about that, about people still getting it. I see now they have some cases where it has affected people because,
Mhm.
some people are saying, well, it was to get rid of people, this and that. A lot of conspiracy theories was going out on it. And I didn't understand how you could still get it, because first it was like, well, if you wear a mask, you're good. Then you don't have to wear a mask if you're double vaccinated. But if you do, there's just so many mixed signals out there. Now they got the monkeypox, and it seemed like it's always going to something else. And the variant they're giving you for the COVID is something that doesn't work on this strand, the Delta, this and that. So it's like, what do you do, man? Do you stay home? Do you just keep wearing your mask? Is COVID over? I don't know. We just can't win. So sometimes I guess you just gotta do the right thing. Are you worried about the monkeypox at all?
Mm, if anything, I would have to be worried for the kids because I know I'm gonna stay away from things that I feel like, or people that I feel like potentially can do that to me. But kids are in school and daycare, so um, you can't dictate what other parents doing at their house, with their kids and how clean they are. Because there's been cases where the schools have had to shut down for COVID. You know, so
Yes.
um, but honestly,
Okay.
I only can control what I could control. I'm not very good at thinking about things that don't directly affect me quite yet. I mean, it's on my mind,
Yeah.
but more direct things I have to take care of.
Right.
Just keeping myself clean and healthy is the best I can do right now.
Yeah, that's a good point, because you only can do what you can do. Anything else is just trying to cross a bridge not built yet. So I can definitely get behind you on that 100%. You mentioned you have kids. How old are your kids now?
3 and 4. Yeah,
Oh, three.
baby
Okay, so
girl.
you still got Tyler. Are they potty trained yet, or are they? I don't know which
Yeah,
age
they
they're potty
are, but it
trained.
seemed like my oldest is trying to revert a little bit. So daddy got to get at her a little bit because it seemed like everybody want to tell me about the issue and not actually solve it.
You're right. Yeah.
Like,
So,
go ahead, send her to boot camp for a couple days.
yeah, that's solved that. It's knocked that right out. So it's 3 and 4. Okay, 3 and 4, 3 and 4. Yeah, they're almost, they're not in school though, right? They're daycare at that
Daycare.
age.
My Genesis, that's my oldest. She gonna be starting actual school next year. Oh my God. Now, see, that's the stuff that make
Wow.
me feel, oh, what am I doing with a kid that's in actual school?
Yeah, it go by quick, man. I tell you, it really does. Um, okay, so speaking of kids, I know that a lot of families thrive better when there's a positive male in the family. I know before I talked to you, you had said that you and your dad weren't that close at that time. What is your relationship with your father now?
I actually had called him not too long ago and I took initiative and was like, you know what, Pops, somebody got to make the change. So I was thinking that maybe we can like check on each other, like, maybe twice a month. You call me one time, I call you the next time.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
So far, I've been the only one consistent with that, but
Oh, wow,
it's
okay.
still cool. That way, that means I get to get off the phone when I don't feel like it. but but
Yeah.
but at the same time, no, he's cool, man. I talked to him about some pretty deep things recently. So if I felt like I could do that, then he's cool. He's cool.
So how did that make you feel to call him? Were you nervous about reaching out to him, or just how does that come about?
Nah, I only usually call him when I really got something to talk about, because other than that, it's pretty generic,
Oh, okay.
conversation. So like when I'm needing some advice, like, dang, I asked my mama, let me see what my daddy would think about something like this. You know what I mean?
Okay, getting that balance. Yes.
Yeah.
So was it tough for your father not there for you all the time when you were growing up? Do you think that affected you and your parenting skills, or things you're going to interact with your kids now?
It definitely affected me more so for what I remember the lack thereof more so when he was around, because it kind of was a double-edged sword. When he wasn't around, it sucked. When he was around, it's like, you're never around. Why are you here now?
Okay.
So it's not a lot of those incidents where I could be like, yeah, my daddy was there. I mean, when I was wrestling in high school, he came to a few of those matches, which was cool, back then. But as far as being a parent now, I used to say things like, I don't want to be like my dad, uh,
Hmm.
my mother told me, like, don't say that, because then you'll end up being what you hate the most. So I ended up saying, like, I just want to be a great dad.
There you go. Yeah, I like that.
So I've been in my kids' life since they was born. So I plan on
So
it that
yeah,
way.
so that kind of stemmed that from your dad. That kind of helped.
Mm-hmm.
So since his absence there made you want to be a more stronger parent.
Yeah, I felt like you can either do one or two things as a man without a father or without proper guidance growing up. You could either fall victim to that system and become somebody that you feel sorry for, like, oh, I feel sorry I can't do this. I'm such a bad, or you can learn from that and be like, I'm not going to be there. I'm going to be the opposite of that. Like, my
Mhm.
father wasn't around to teach me how to be a manly man. I kind of just learned that as I grew up. And this
What
Father's Day, as soon as I had kids, it kind of just like
clicked in? Yeah.
mm.
What do you think? How do you think your life would have turned out if he'd have had a more stronger, consistent presence in your life? What do you think things would have been different for you in any way, or what do you think would have been different?
Honestly, I don't know. Like, it's good to imagine the benefits that my dad could have instilled in me as a younger man, but seeing how I wouldn't want to be him as a man. I mean, he has a good job. He's living all right, but like,
Mhm.
just the certain things as the characteristics and stuff like that. Like I'm kind of glad you didn't teach me this stuff.
Mm.
I'm
Yeah.
glad, because I had to learn what I didn't like, as a person, as a man, as a boy, whatever. I had to learn. I teach myself that.
Mm. When it comes to dating, do you think you have a grasp on what makes a relationship work?
Um, this is different for everybody, but in my opinion, don't move in with your partner.
Okay, I definitely agree with that. But why do you say that?
Me personally, I think my social, I'm such an introverted person, even though I'm a people person, which is it's weird. It's a weird balance. I love genuine conversation. I love companionship, but I like to be by myself a lot. I like my space. So I say that because I like to be able to miss that person. You know, if I don't be
Mm,
able to miss you, it's
mm.
see you every day. You know, like I
Oh,
like that.
okay.
I like that. I like that. What the space can provide. It keeps the things fresh. You know.
Marriage is gonna be interesting for you then, if you don't want to see him every day. You're like, I want you here, but I want my space. So
Ah, they can see.
live with me, but don't come in the room, but be outside the door in case I need you.
Yeah, yeah, nah.
Women like that. Okay, all right. So let me ask you this then. Why do you think couples struggle so much then? I mean,
I,
because we live in a society where there's a high divorce rate.
I like to say that a lot of couples generate off of what somebody can do for them or what they
Ooh,
look like,
ooh.
and versus they heart and having a friendship out of it, like a genuine friendship. I thrive best when I'm friends with somebody, like real good friends. And if we decide to date, then we know we can, we close enough to try that. But I found out in my personal experiences when you do things backwards, like do the intimate stuff first and then try to build a friendship, that's hard. Because now all the
Ooh.
expectations come out the blue. I'm messing with you now. You're my person. And it's like, wait, we ain't even there yet. Oh, wait, I guess we are. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I just
Wow.
suggest you take things the way they're supposed to go. Like if you gonna just mess around with somebody, then just do that. I mean, if different people, me personally, I can't do that step first and then try to be friends because things get too heavy first. You know,
Yeah, you're right. I,
patience.
I spoke to a young lady the other day, and she told me when it comes to intimacy, she said, well, I figure being intimate with me is more important to me than it is for the guy, because she said we have a vagina, and a vagina is more weight than a penis. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I said, I really think the couple should be married first before they get into that. But she said that I didn't know that. So she said, therefore, the man is supposed to pay for all the woman's bills. So I was like, interesting. Is that your take on it too? That a woman is has a priority because she's a female and you should pay for her bills? Is that your take or?
I encourage anybody to get with somebody that think like them. Because I believe in partnership. Not because like this is why dudes feel like if I pay for everything, then I can do whatever I want. You know what I mean?
Right.
This is why they
Mm-hmm.
end up feeling like that. Then it's still like, no, you can't, no, you can't. Like, oh, okay, well, but that's why I rather just deal with somebody that's on the same thing because I might not have it all the time. I would love to be in a
Mm-hmm.
position where I can just be like, you don't have to worry about nothing. But sometimes that just creates a worse person. I still want you to be a good person. And just because you spoiled don't mean you ain't gotta be a good person no more. Like
Right.
I've seen some cases.
Yeah.
I know some people now.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm with you on that. I guess I mean, I'm way down the road past your old 25. But for me, I kind of think that you it's better to have a partnership where we both build. If the guy's just constantly paying for everything while you sitting back doing whatever you're gonna do with your money, then how are we growing that pot of money? Because I would like to get some real estate, travel, see the world, do some stuff. But
Yeah.
if I'm one person is carrying everything on his back while you sitting back there getting your nails buffed out and looking pretty and stuff, again, I'm old school though. I'm old school.
That's why I say the steps matter. Got to build a friend out of that. I would love to spoil my best friend. You know what I mean? My best friend turned girlfriend turned wife. You know what I mean? Now that's a different story. If you want to spend money like that and take care of her like that, that's because she earned that. But
Yeah. Oh yeah.
it's not just anybody I date. Like, oh no. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah, I
dead.
think a lot of people have got that thinking that hey, the man's supposed to do it, and then they even throw the Bible in. Back in the Bible, the man took care of everything. But back in the those days too, the woman also cooked, cleaned, took care of the house, did the kids, and of course he had a soldier on his team. He'd kill you. You talk about that woman. Now it's just like, hey, I need this, I need that. Well, I'm going shopping, and I'm like, how does that work?
The
But
social media got them messed up, man.
yeah, it really does. And I understand that you want to let your woman know you love her, but I think it's more to it than just giving gifts. Because think about what do men want? What does Dumante want? When you get married, what will it take for her? What are you looking for in a woman?
A partner, man. I need somebody that's going to invest in me the same way I invest in them. I need somebody that's gonna challenge me. I like to be challenged. Like, hey, make 3 songs today. I guarantee you it'll get done. You know, because mama ain't raised a quitter.
Yeah.
You know, I need somebody that
Yeah.
knows me better than I know me sometimes. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
just the love language is, I don't want to say space, like as in we gotta be so far apart of each other, but like just somebody that I can sit around in silence and then not feel awkward. You know,
Like that. I'm gonna write that down.
somebody I can have game night with, somebody I can talk to, vent to, you know, without feeling like I don't want no sass to come from venting. You know what I mean? I just want to be understood, be heard, you know, and just peace, man.
Yeah.
I strive for a level of peace. I really need it.
Yep. I think a lot of times men are motivated as well as their downfall is women. Because if you go back to the Bible, Adam and Eve, they kind of lost it all because of Eve, you know, not really listening. And then you come up to now, you have a Will Smith listening to his wife, you have a downfall there. So you're right, you do need a partner, but she also has to understand that her role is to be your support and to help you achieve the goal. So if you got the plans, hey, you know what, we're gonna move to Beverly Hills. I want to write music and do this and that. Her thing, she's like, all right, cool, we got to find some jobs out there. We're gonna try to find an apartment out there. You know what I'm saying? Working together like that. So I think that's something that's needed. One moment. Yeah, that's just my opinion on that, though. So, have you been through some relationship traumas there, or has it been smooth sailing for you? Or are you marrying the baby's mom? Is that something we doing? What's up with it?
So I had a few bad relationships when I was younger. Let's say my first real relationship, I was dealing with her for like the last 2 years of high school, and then like 2 years after that. To say the least, we were extremely toxic. We definitely fought sometimes.
From the jump, y'all was toxic?
No, it got toxic over years. It got toxic just for no reason. You know what I mean? If I could go, I'm such a man nowadays. Like I would apologize to her if I could. You know what I mean? Just not for her, but like for me. Like I don't feel like nobody should have to go through that. You know what I mean? I guess, you know, toxic relationships is pretty common, but I ended up going to jail when I was 19 over a little domestic misdemeanor. And that time we wasn't even fighting, but her mama set me up. She called the police on me.
You hit her?
And they both agreed that I did it. And I was such a young boy at the time. Me and my mama wasn't on good terms, so I was dealing with everything by myself. And I was just like, I did my little jail time. I had to wait extra time because they rescheduled my court day, and they asked, you know, judges and prosecutors in my face, like, "Oh, you did this. This is gonna be this is gonna be this felony." And I'm just like, I plead. It's a misdemeanor. I plead, like, you know what I mean? Like I was ready to get it over with.
Right. Yeah, that's what they want you to do.
You know what I mean? Like I didn't want a felony on my record, but the misdemeanor just as bad. But that was the last time me and a female ever got into an altercation like that. Like I ain't never let nobody knock me off my cool like that. And ever since that.
Wow. So how long did you have to actually stay in jail?
Man, probably like it was supposed to be. They talk about it was supposed to be like 2 days. I ended up staying there like a week and a half, 2 weeks, something like that.
I bet that was a long 2 weeks, wasn't it?
Especially when they told me they rescheduled that mug. But the worst thing I did was this was super traumatizing. This is kind of something that leaked over into my my later lives. Like I had messed with a chick, and then like 2 months after not messed with her no more, 2 months later, she came out the blue and was like, "I'm pregnant."
Oh. And
so the entire 9 months, like I barely seen her because I was in a relationship with the one I was just talking about. So I spent a lot, like super immature though. Like I spent a lot of time trying to keep it from her. You know what I mean? And basically only reason I did that is because we used to say things like we don't know if we would be with each other if we had somebody else's baby. So I was really, you know.
Yeah.
So like I should have told her though, you know what I mean? But so for the entire 9 months, the other chick was lying. But I did see her over like sometimes, like, and gradually her stomach was getting bigger.
Oh yeah, that's kind of how it works.
So I was at work one day, and one of my buddies came in and was like, "You need to come with me. It's about the baby." And I'm like, super shocked. So I go outside and get in the car. It's her mama in there. She like, "You got my daughter pregnant?" And I'm like, "Yes, ma'am." You know what I mean? So she showed me a picture of her. It's supposed to be like 5 months pregnant, and she's like skinny. So
Okay.
basically, the girl was lying about the baby the whole entire 9 months. I don't know what she was doing to make her stomach look bigger, but I was buying, like, I was young too. Like I was like 19, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Trying to prepare to be a father. I bought diaper bags, I bought clothes. Like she was just lying her face off, boy. I can't even tell you all the lies she was telling me, but um it ended up making me not claim my firstborn instantly when she was born, because
Okay.
I had to find out that this particular baby mother was pregnant, the day of her
Oh
having
wow.
the baby. So when I got up there, she already named her and everything. Like she didn't even tell me about it. Like, so
Mm.
so I would have stopped the doctor and be like, "That's my baby," but I already had that traumatizing experience. So I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't about to just claim a baby off top like I learned. So once I
Yeah.
did find out she was mine, she been with me half the week ever since.
Wow. So that's got to be something like, whew, man, you have been through some things.
Yeah,
Yeah, that will. I see. So you are older, 25. 'Cause I can tell you're mature, so it's kind of helped you. But you had mentioned that you went through it alone. So did you ever feel like just giving up, man? Like, what am I gonna do? What's next?
never, never. I'm
Hmm.
not saying it like it don't come close to me saying, "Dang, I wish I'd probably be better off not here." And that was when I was younger. I have not said that in a long time, but I've never contemplated taking myself out the game. I never contemplated anything like that. So
Hmm.
I just sometimes it's overwhelming and I just really don't know what to do. Sometimes I just sleep on it.
Mhm. Yeah.
Control what I can control. That's what
Wow.
I had to learn.
Mhm. Now I know a lot of people self-medicate during these times and stuff. Have you tried any self-medication? Have you tried any drugs or anything? Or you just alcohol, weed? What young people do? Was it
You
Xanax,
know,
Xantos? Something. I don't
I'm
know what
not
young people
against
do.
drugs. I don't do that.
Okay.
Nah, but
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I mean, shoot, it's basically legal almost everywhere. So yeah,
What's that?
I
Oh,
smoke
weed.
the most. That's my go-to.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I will drink. I do enjoy drinking sometimes. Sometimes it's how I gain an appetite. But
Okay. Yeah.
and I only can drink because I only drink because I'm a happy drunk. Like I'm never,
Okay.
what I mean, I'm never an angry drunk. So I think that's cool. But it was a time I had to stop drinking because I felt myself turning into an alcoholic. Once
Mm.
once you start expecting a bottle to be there and start noticing how much it's gone, like I had to cut it
So
out for
you,
like a month or two.
what's your go-to drink? What do you like?
Um, it's varied over the years. I guess I started drinking honey Jim Beam or uh honey Jack Daniels. Sometimes that Casamigos is pretty cool. Um,
Mhm.
Apple Crown Royal, Sailor Jerry's.
Wow, I've never heard of them. I've never had a drink, so I don't even know what you're talking about. Does it
Something.
burn? Does it burn?
Yeah,
Oh heck no. I'm good. I'm good. I would never be interested. Wow, I
gotta
admire
drink it
that.
with a chaser. But me, I'm such an OG. I could drink it straight.
Mm, wow. Okay. I know Listerine hurt me, so yeah. Okay. So as far as the weed, how did you first try that? What led to you trying it?
Mm, uh, my mom's friend, he was a
Uh-oh.
and
Ooh,
to
he
my
did it.
to my
I knew
surprise, she said it was okay. This is back when I was still living with her.
it.
She said it was okay for me to hit it because she wanted to see how I would act in front of her, if you know what I mean, before anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So I had my first drink around my mom. I smoked my first blunt around my mom.
Mm. So you start out with a blunt. Is that how they do it? The blunt, that's the big one, right?
It can be. That's backwoods is what they roll to be looking like super wide, and that's a leaf. But me personally, I know I conserve smoke, so I don't have to roll mines to like the size of a head to get high. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mainly smoke to calm my nerves and to get my creative juices flowing.
Okay.
You know what
so,
I mean?
So the first time you tried it, you liked it the first time?
Yeah.
Oh wow. I thought it would.
Wonder. I wish I could get those highs again.
Man, it seems like it.
People
People come around, they smell so strong. It just gives me a headache being around. I don't know why that stuff is so strong, but yeah. Okay. Now, would you allow your kids to get high, or is there a certain time frame that you would tell them they had to wait to do?
No, I think I would pull the same method my mom pulled on me, but it had to be if I feel like they comfortable enough. If I feel like they mature enough to handle something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't make me no worse kid, you know what I mean? But it affect everybody differently.
Yeah. Okay. I also want to talk to you about before we get into our main topic here. I want to talk to you about racism. As a young Black man, I always like to get people's perspective on it. Do you think racism is a real thing, or is that just something that we're making a bigger problem into ourselves as African Americans, or as I say, people of the global majority?
No, racism is real. Racism is real, and we call it racism. They call it, I don't know, righteousness.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fact that there's still statues of certain people that literally only existed to defend slavery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right.
Like that says something about America. Like how is the tree that it's the tree in Memphis they were lynching Black people from is a historical site within a neighborhood in Memphis. Like racism is real. It stop you from getting jobs. It can get turned on you, just if somebody if they say you're doing it, at least to certain police eyes. Yeah, racism is real, man. And it's not just limited to white people, but they have the most influence over what racism is. They have, you know what I mean? They if a Mexican is racist to me, a white person gonna be like, tuh, you know, but if a white person was racist to a Black person, it's like, oh man, we see that. Like that's bogus. I do have a little story real quick. I was just on the video game not too long ago playing online and team game. It was Call of Duty. And one of the guys on my team was like barking orders at us. I'll do this, do that, do that, do that. And I'm like, joking around. I'm like, calm down, Jamal. They'll pull out the knife, So he was like, he was a white boy. He was like, don't call me a Black name.
Ooh.
I'm like, huh? He's like, I'm not Black, so don't call me a Black name. And I was like, what make it a Black name? And he like, have you ever heard any other white people named Jamal? I'm like, have you met every single person on earth?
Good question.
Why he say, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I ain't met no Jamal name that was white yet. But I said, this is the problem. Like you making it an issue. He was like, so if you call me Jamal, that means I can say the N-word, right? And I'm like,
ooh, wow, that escalated quickly.
Right. So I'm like, you know what? You got freedom of speech. You know what I mean? Say what you want to say. You can deal with those repercussions if there is any. Unfortunately for you, I'm not somebody that necessarily cares about that. You know what I mean? Like I cared because he trying to say it to hurt. You know what I mean? Like we say it to greet. We know what it mean when we say it. You know what I mean? But when somebody like him say it, and I don't mean white, but I mean a person with that mind frame. You know what I mean? Like he just saying it because he know it typically would make somebody feel some type of way. You know what I mean? A person of color. Like,
yeah.
So he was just like, I feel like we should be able to say it. I'm like, dude, if y'all knew how to say it, you know what I mean? Say it the way it's intended, then maybe we could take baby steps. But y'all overdo it. But we end up losing the game. And then he exposed himself. That's when he start, y'all N-word suck, y'all N-word suck. Start adding the ER and everything. I'm like, this is what I be talking about. Like white folks do stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like y'all take it too far. Like, but then there's people that's like, oh, maybe you shouldn't have called him Jamal. Like, what makes it a black name?
Oh my God.
What makes it a black name? Tell me that. I was like, that's you doing that. That's you doing that. You make it. I know some Chads that's black. I know some Roberts that's black. I know some Mikes that's black. So what makes Jamal a black name?
Well, it's interesting. I think about racism in that aspect that people say maybe other sides, it was not as bad as y'all making it out to be. But if you ask them, would you want to get treated the way I get treated? They're quick to say, oh, no.
Right,
like, so what's so bad about somebody calling you that? Yeah. So why is it bad that I called you Jamal? I mean, so if you don't like being called a name, imagine going undercover. Because I read a book called, I think it's called Black Like Me, where this guy went undercover as a black man, had his skin dyed and everything, shaved his head low. And he was back in the South, back when segregation was heavy in the South, and went down there. And man, it changed his whole life. He said he saw things that he didn't even know and didn't think existed. And he said, oh, yes, it's a real situation. And I think by people not having a discussion about it and not being real, I don't think really things are going to change. And people, I mean, the whole Constitution was not written for people, the global majority. It wasn't written for us. Right. It was written for rich white people who own a lot of slaves and a lot of territory. It was benefited from them. And so I'm thinking if the Constitution was written back then is all jacked up, why not dismantle this whole thing and start over and make it inclusive of every nationality and go forward? By them not doing that shows me that it's money involved. When money's involved, racism is going to continue.
You know what I heard, Ward? I heard this. I heard, people want change. They just don't want to have to pay for it. They don't want to have to pay for it. They don't want it to change to affect what they got going on with their life either.
You're right. Yep. The great Malcolm X had reportedly said that if you're not willing to acknowledge that damage has been done and, like you said, make up for the difference, then how's it ever going to change? So same thing. You're right. You have to take those first steps. But people say, well, you know what? That was my parents' parents. That ain't got to do with me. But if you're still receiving benefits from a system that changed and enslaved and did all this stuff to my people, and I'm still feeling benefits of it, then we got to start somewhere, So I think it starts with a dialogue of honest, open communication. That's what I think. Have you ever been pulled over by a police officer? I know you was cool with Tree Fry. So have you had any encounters with officers that you thought that you may not get home?
I don't want to say not get home because I got pulled over. I ain't got pulled over in a while, and it's knock on wood. But last times I did get pulled over, the police were actually cool. Okay. I didn't ticket. One of them even let me go with 3 things wrong with my car. So, I can't. I'm not one of those people that say F the police in general. I say F the bad ones. You know what I mean? The ones with the real agendas, like, no, they can get up out of here. So how you Tree Fry? Dang.
I do my research. But I just don't sit behind the mic. I got to get deep. So yeah, that is interesting that happens, that people are dealing with that, because I talked to so many people about this, and they said, there are good cops and there are bad cops. They said, but where are those good cops when a bad cop is doing something wrong? So if he's standing by there, isn't he really a bad cop too? Because if you commit a crime of mine, I'm standing by there and I don't try to stop you do nothing, guess what?
They book us sit in a cell. Murder, don't they? They will book you for accessory to murder. So I don't know how that one, the Derek Chauvin dude that killed George Floyd, I don't know how he went down by himself. But
they got the other ones now. They're gonna do something to him, but really they kind of let you out later on.
Right.
So
off camera,
he's not gonna stay
off the record. So I find out some of the scariest things I've seen recently are videos where cops are harassing people, whether they black or white. They are harassing people, and then they bring the backup out there, and the backup don't even be like, chill out, man. They just be like, listen to the cop, damn, you gonna escalate it? How you gonna call out another one that's just like you? Like I hate those videos because they never have a reasonable cop in it. Like,
oh no. Well, you gotta understand that's what they're trained to do. whenever the one cop is doing something to the other one, he turned around the crowd control. He's standing around backing the crowd up, keeping them away. And this, no, try to keep you calm. Don't go over there, man. Back up. That's what they do. What other cops are doing the same. That's what they're trained to do, and they stick together. So, the thing that I have issues with about police officers is that you're paid extra money to be a first responder. That means you got to come on the scene. If somebody's shot, give them mouth to mouth, get help, de-escalate the situation. That's why people say defund the police. They don't mean don't pay them. It's like, let's not pay them for the extra money. Let's pay somebody like me and you who can come there and help keep the peace. That's what a first responder does and all that. But they're not doing that. And like I saw a guy today, a cop, this lady ran up on him because her boyfriend getting arrested, and she pushed the cop like, "What are you doing?" And he took her by the face and pushed her flat on her face, and then arrested her because she touched him. So they show his salary. This dude makes $118,000 a year, has a super bad attitude. So I'm thinking cops got to understand that when emotions are high, reasoning tends to be low. So I got to know this comes to the territory. People don't want to get arrested. People don't want to go to jail. So they may run from you. They may say things you don't like, but I have to know that just like you're in sales, you got to know everybody not going to want to buy your product. Everybody ain't going to want to do this. So you got to say, okay, let me see how I'm going to deal with that. I think cops forget, like, what? You talking to me like that? You said then they're normally the ones who escalate to 1,000, and you supposed to be the one keeping the peace. So how can you come into a volatile situation and you got a gun talking about I feel unsafe with the gun on you? I feel scared for my life. Like, hold up, player. Wait a minute.
I can't react like that, can I?
Yeah. So you got to be. Was it like Philando Castillo when he got shot? His girl, she had to be the calm one because the cop was scared. But you just shot her dude in front of her kid several times, and you scared? I don't know, man. But I just have issues. I think absolute power corrupts.
I don't
absolutely.
want to say his name wrong. Where that Jacob got his shot in Wisconsin 7 times in the back, or was it Milwaukee or something? I can't remember.
You could pick any city and get that.
Jacob Blake, I believe. I don't want to butcher his name. I don't remember his last name. But a cop shot him 7 times in the back. He survived though.
Ooh, yeah. I think I'd be a little nervous as a young black man now. I think because the world is, the Bible says we live in the last days, and that's clearly happening. So I just be a little nervous. So I'm glad you're okay with it and not feeling this threat, because I don't know, man. I just see so much, it just kind of makes me nervous. I just don't want to, take anybody off on that.
Nah, but like that too. I understand that we living in of revelations right now.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely understand that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can see it every day.
If you haven't noticed, they making a lot of satire movies.
Oh yeah.
So it's too heavily relatable. So it's not just somebody
trying. But are they real though? Do they have real outcomes and do they?
Okay, I got examples for you too. I got a movie I watched called Don't Look Up. You seen that?
I never watched it. I saw it on my app all the time. I never watch it.
So basically, Leonardo, it's not a Leonardo DiCaprio movie, but he's in it. It's basically about how scientists find a comet that's gonna wipe out the human race like years before it happened, and they try to like warn the government about it, and the government don't take them serious. So when it's time to make actions, and the government trying to use that comet as a money maker, because the comet held like trillions of dollars worth of material on it, and they like we can preserve some of the comet if we let some of it land on Earth. We just got to break it up into pieces. And the scientist was like, it's gonna wreck us, what I mean, if we don't do something. So that movie's really good, but it opened my eyes, and then to what's going on in the world, and how just the government do things. If you ever decide to watch that, it's a real good watch. And then that movie called Sorry to Bother You.
I didn't watch it, but the sales movie with the dude from Atlanta in there.
Yeah, so
that's good.
I watched that movie right before I got this sales job, and their whole motto was stick to the script.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. I hate that when people do that too. Yeah, you're right. What about Nope? Did you see that yet?
Nah, I want to see that so bad.
Yeah, I don't even know what that's about, so I don't know if I'm gonna watch it, because there's certain things I won't watch. I don't watch demonic horror films or things like that, so I got to make sure it's on that level, and I try to avoid horror movies. I gotta be careful what I feed my mind. So yeah, so I might, yeah. So, but I also want to touch with you on politics. Are you a political person or are you neutral like me? What's your stance on that?
I think I'm pretty independent. I'd rather not have to choose between two people that's lying to us anyways. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if everything not a lie, most things are. Of course, they got to make themselves look good to get picked. You know,
Yeah.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm not really fancy with somebody, especially somebody that's like old as dirt running
Oh my
modern
gosh.
world.
Well, what's old to you? That's you. So for what? 38 is old, right? That's like over the hill. How's he still alive? He's 38. You believe it? You believe this
80,
guy?
83. Let's flip the number. 83.
Okay.
Joe Biden about
Yeah.
old than a bug.
Yeah. That's what they do. They get. I mean, I don't go to too many old people for advice like that. I mean, like, I guess can't see me saying, "Okay, hey, Grandpa, I know you're like 85 now. Can you tell me which stock I should buy? Should I
Right.
get
Like,
this car? Should I date that girl?" I'm like, yeah.
you can't tell me Joe Biden is caught up with the modern world. You can't, you know what I mean? Like, we need somebody that's more with the times. Like, he was around when Bill Clinton was the president. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he was involved with the government since like the 90s. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
nah,
But I
man.
don't think a politician is going to do anything anyway because they asked this one guy, they asked a politician, they said, "Are politicians corrupt?" And he said, "Well, I can't say yes or no." He said, "Because in order to run for office, it costs millions of dollars to get in that office." He said, "So we got to go to people with money to solicit them to help us get what we want." And he said, "People with money want favors back. So if I get the money from them, get in the office, I got a quid pro quo. I got to get them something back for what they did for me. And that might mean I got to support a bill I really don't like, or I got to do some stuff I don't want to do because I got to pay my dues." So are we corrupt? Maybe, maybe not. And I was always taught if you're standing on the fence straddling, you're on the dark side because either you're on this side or you're on the other side. So
Sound like
yeah, I just kind of go ahead.
sound like you explaining the little corporation out there. It sound like you're explaining
I'm
stuff.
just yeah, because we call that straddling when you try to, I know this is right, but I'm gonna try to keep one foot on the dark side. Well, you can't really do it because if I tell you, I say, hey, Dumante, I got this water here. Now it's got just a little poison in it, just a little poison, or I got this one that's unopened. Which one you want? Well, I would think you want the one with no poison. So people try to force one with a little poison, try to, oversell it. And that's a problem for me. So that's another reason why I don't get involved with politics. It's just not a good thing, man. I mean, you can look at all the laws that are passed that have not benefited us yet. Like, would you say they don't want to pay them? Do you
They
think
don't want to pay for change.
You mean reparations? Is that what you're referring to?
Man, I just had a conversation about this yesterday or the other day too. I don't I hope I don't lose my black people for this, but I feel like even black people, some of us definitely got to classify to get some reparations. You know what I mean? Like meet certain classifications to get. I like, first of all, what is reparations? What you looking for? You know what I mean? Like, if you could set your dollar amount, then that would be the best case scenario. You set the dollar amount, you get it back, right? But like, some people just want reparations because they black. They don't know nothing about being black. They don't know no history. You know what I mean? They don't even care about black people. You know what I mean? Because they be quick to kill each other. And I can't advocate. What Black Lives Matter mean to me, obviously it don't mean to other people. So and I mean, I don't want to say that's okay, but it is what it is. If you can't change the way you want to feel about things on your own or through being taught, then in my opinion, you kind of a lost cause.
Black people are lost cause?
Not all of us. I mean, it's black people, and then you got your niggas. Okay, and I'm sorry to say that, but
explain the difference to me.
Niggas, man, like it's all about them. It's all about what you can do for them. It's all about if we put together like a program where 20,000 people send $1 to somebody, you know what I mean, like. And it could be anonymous, a person or whatever. Black people be like, I don't know where my dollar going. Or niggas be like, I don't know where my dollar going. You know what I mean? Like, but it's a random drawing of somebody that get it, or it may be not random because nobody want to get 20,000 twice. They'd be like, hey, what about me? Like, I
Yeah.
mean, people want it, but that's not how that would work for the majority. But I just think more niggas are selfish and have very low vibrations. They don't really think too far ahead with the right things.
Mm,
You know what I mean?
okay.
Black people like myself, I stay out the way. I see things from both sides. You know what I mean? Like I don't cause trouble. I am selfish to the point where it's like I gotta take care of me first, not like, oh, I'm gonna buy these shoes and my family's starving, like, or something like that. Like I just try my best to be a well-balanced person and be that prove the white people wrong. You know what I mean? Like I'm
Mm.
not one of those black people. I ain't even come from Africa. You can't tell me I did. You know what I mean? You can't prove what my documents at. Like as far as I'm concerned, I'm part Jamaican and Haitian. And so, you know what I mean? But like I'm open-minded. You know what I mean? I'm real peaceful. Like I don't want to come off as a scary black dude just because I'm tall, you know what I mean? And dark skin and got a deep voice. Like I want people to be able to be like, he's not so bad. And whether
Mm.
without them saying he's not so bad for a black guy. You know what I mean? Like he's
Yeah,
not so
yeah.
bad. I don't want them to say stuff like that. And I like proving people wrong, man. Not all of us is worth being scared of. Like we really good people out here.
Hmm. You had said that black people kill black people. What
Niggas.
were you referring? You saying we just randomly kill each other for no reason? Is that what you're
Mm-mm.
saying? Or
It's not no reason. It's not no reason. It'd be petty reasons, in my opinion. But it's also like I can't say that because obviously it'd be deep enough sometimes. Sometimes it's for the dollar amount. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's checkers. You kill my cousin, I'm killing you, I'm killing him. They go back and forth with it. They
yeah.
go back and forth. You kill mine, I kill yours, I kill yours, you kill mine. Like, and it's just it's a vicious cycle because it's like nobody ever stopped to be like, you know what? We don't gotta kill each other, bro.
Hmm.
It, Your justice is my revenge, and vice versa. You know, nobody is the good guy at the end of the day.
Do you think the society wants black people to kill each other? Do they
Hmm.
benefit off that anyway?
They do because if you think about it, the more white people have interracial relationships, the less white people come out of that.
Mhm.
you
Exactly.
know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. So
they didn't
yeah.
ban abortions for the babies.
Mhm.
They
Yeah.
banned them
Any
for
every
the white people.
exactly. Yeah.
Uh,
Because like I said, when that's why you had mentioned earlier about racism about in the country, when you fill out a job application, apartment application, anything, they always say, what's your nationality? In other
mhm.
countries, they don't have that on there. China doesn't make people say, what's your nationality? Uh, Europeans don't have to answer that question. Only in America that we have to answer, what's your nationality? So that's why I say, I don't say I'm African American anymore. I say I'm of the majority, global majority. That means it's more, we're more of them than there. So in this country, we got about what 40 million black people, and you got like 150, 200 million white people. And I think, unfortunately, people are threatened by that those numbers, they don't want to lose that control. So what I did was they kept sending me stuff in one of my junk emails about a political candidate trying to get back in office again. I said, let me just go and say, yeah, go ahead, send me information. And they started sending me a whole bunch of stuff for Trump, man, talking about how we got to get rid of critical race theory. That they don't want to talk about how slaves were treated and all this. Because I started looking through, you see how slaves were treated? I didn't know that slaves were required, kids had to have sex with their parents. I didn't know they had orgy parties where the slave masters would have raped the slaves at these parties and have other people. I didn't know all this. They don't want all that stuff out. So they said, we don't want to talk negatively about another culture. So we want to just stop talking about slavery. Let's just talk, go for now. So when you said that maybe they shouldn't get reparations because they weren't fully black, I kind of disagree, because the problem is you have to organize. That's what the problem is. Nobody else is smarter than another culture. They're just out organized. Because every time you start organizing somebody, they start making people think. Now you oh my gosh, did Martin Luther King died because he organized the Poor People's March. People don't know that. They all he just said, no, they killed him because it was just not black people. It was white people, black people, poor people. They was all coming together. So the top 110% of the population with money, they don't want to lose that. Jeff Bezos have enough money to make everybody in the world a billionaire. That's ridiculous, but he doesn't do it. So you got to look at the bigger picture. So when it comes to reparations, it doesn't have to be money. You got to understand it can be land. Hey, okay, we're gonna get Dumante, we'll give him his 40 acres over here, not just wasted land, but somewhere over here. And then I'm also going to set him up with a business, money for a business of his choice and free education. It's a lot of things you can do. Now, if a person chooses not to accept that, then that's on them. But you at least need to make them whole, because you erased the people's whole culture. You took them out their land and just say, okay, we're going to have this. You couldn't speak the language. You couldn't do nothing. Then you say, okay, we're going to red line y'all. You go downtown Indianapolis and see the red line. They bold with it. Inside that red line is where you got to be at. And then so if people shooting, killing each other, that's because you got a whole bunch of people in an enclosed space. If you put a whole bunch of white people in the trailer park, and then this is where they live at, and he comes home, guy comes home, he can't find his park, he's upset, he's fighting, and guns are easy to get now, somebody gonna get shot. So it's not that blacks are killing blacks, it's just my environment that I'm in. So if you squeeze people in this place and then you don't give them nothing, then what are they going to do? So they count on us not being able to come together and say, yeah, that does make sense. I shouldn't do that because it's not good. It's not good. Racism makes money. I get it.
Yeah, for sure. I don't want to I want to get back on my side too. I don't want to say we don't deserve it. Certain black people don't deserve the money because we get, let's say we get money, what 9 times out of 10, people take care of their bills and then we frivolously spend it, on things we ever wanted. I was, like you said, you made a good point. I meant to say that too. Like, yeah, we could get land or something. Hey, give us our own little section. Let us be great again, Black people. You know what I mean? But like every Black person just getting money just lowers the value of the dollar for one. We'll be spending more money. We'll be spending it faster than we ever had before, and giving it right back.
That's true. But you can put in there, get education. For example, if you built a new housing addition in the community, it comes with stipulations. I don't know if you know this. You say, okay, I want to build Walters housing addition on the east side. The city's gonna say, we're gonna let you do that, but however, you got to build a new basketball court with the school. You got to fix all these streets up and down this road over here, and then you got to put a park over there. That's how they do stuff. That's how it works. You every new addition, they're gonna do some stuff. So if you give somebody money. Huh?
I was saying they won't let us be great because I think you get to a point I also be making like, why don't we come together as a Black people and make our own community, make our own policing system, our own education? Oh, the white people gonna come for it. They gonna want that. You know what I mean? That's why we pay for our own protection. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. I don't know if we would ever be able to come to a common ground where they'd be okay with that, because then that's when they would feel like we being racist.
Well, I don't think a minority can be racist because you're not the one who's making decisions. You're not the one. They asked Magic Johnson the other day, how come Black people just don't quit the NFL and just start their own thing? He said, because the sponsors won't pick up the other shows. See, it's always a control game. So you got to understand, sometimes you got to be willing to take a loss and fight the fight you can't win just to do it. Now, of course, I do believe what the Bible says. I think God's going to come in. He's going to straighten it all out because we can't do it. But just stay on this line. What you would have to do is you have to say, I don't need politics. I don't need other people. What we're going to do is, we're Black people, we're no longer going to Walmart on the weekends all across the country. We are going to Walmart. I guarantee you they change stuff real quick. You hit them with that dollar. Say, we're not buying gas from Shell gas station no more. Shell going to start fighting for you real quick. Hold up. Wait a minute. Let's promote some guy over here. Let's make Dumante the CEO of Indiana because, you got to understand, you got to play the game. But as long as you say we're going out buying Rams and Cadillacs, this and that, we're not trying to be smart. And they count on that. Because what do you think they would do if somebody wisely said, hey, this is how we do it? What do you think they'll do to that man?
You ain't going to hear about him no more unless he already dead and gone.
They'll kill him real quick. So sometimes this is one thing I've learned. There's no change in this country without bloodshed. Even when Jesus came, he died. He had to give his life for the cause. So until there's bloodshed, you just barking up a tree, selling them wolf tickets to me. We just talking. That's why I say when people say, yeah, man, they're not stopping you. It's us. All we got to do is organize. And I just don't mean Black people. I mean all the people who want for their brother to have the same thing they have. That's just, and it's not even, doesn't cost you nothing to do that. So, but anyway, I'm not gonna get on that. We got a few minutes left. I want to talk to you about you had a traumatic experience recently. I'm gonna see how I shift the gears on that real quick. That's a pivot. I want to tell me about a little bit about what happened at your apartment and how that affected you and how you felt about it. Let's just switch gears and get into that.
Okay, so I had a friend and coworker named Dave. He was about a 50-year-old manically depressed white man. We clicked real well at work, man. He reminded me of my uncle, and I wanted them to meet. So Dave's only been over here twice, and the second time was his last time over here. He got to meet my uncle, which was like really good. You know, it felt real good. He asked me if he could spend the night, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So the same night we end up talking about the gun law that ended up changing on July 1st, you know, casual conversation. I just was like, I think it's crazy that people just walking around with ARs now, you know, just because, you know, stuff like that. And I'm just like, I keep my gun for protection, you know. And he was like, oh, you got a gun? You know, I'm not thinking nothing of it. So I let them spend the night. I slept upstairs. And him and Randall slept downstairs on the couch. That's my uncle. I had an interview that next morning, so I left. When I came back, Randall was downstairs on the couch still, and all Dave's things was down there, but I didn't see him nowhere. So I'm like, where he at, Randall? And he said he went upstairs to take a shower. Mind you, Dave ain't never been upstairs in my crib before, so it was kind of like, what? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So I went upstairs. I keep the doors closed when I leave because my dog was getting in the blinds at one point in the bedrooms. So I went upstairs, all the doors was open. So I'm like, I call his name. I'm like, Dave. I don't hear nothing. So I go to the last bedroom on the left. I see like the door is cracked and I see his feet like he leaning against the wall. I'm thinking like, okay, maybe he needed to get away, you know, won't make a big deal out of this. You know what I mean? Open the door even further, and this man's is in there slumped, like, you know, like my gun sitting right next to him and everything, and brain just, ugh, the hole in his head was just, I didn't even know my gun could do that. Yeah, I was hysterical to say the least. I still had to call the job to call off for him. Like, he was supposed to be at work that day and everything. My mama had to be the one to call the police because I couldn't even, I didn't think I could stay on the line waiting for them to try to figure out what's going on, you know, like, and then to make it worse, his parents had to come out here and they like 70, 80 years old. So that was heartbreaking to have to tell them that. It took them like the detectives and everything for like 3 hours for them to get him out of here. And then on top of that, once they did, his car was still outside for like 2 extra days before his people came back and got it. Yeah, that was my homie, man. I didn't go in that room for like a week straight. I kept the door closed, but I start getting more like terrified of the, you know, thinking like it's a dead dude in here still, you know. So
yeah,
I took that step and start going in there and like mourning them and, you know, stuff like that. And things that I will probably want to hear if I did that to myself. Like, I'm not mad at you. You know what I mean? Like, sorry, I know you ain't want to be stopped, or, you know, I hope you where you want to be, stuff like that. Like, that was my homeboy. I looked at him like family. Like, I cared about him. You know what I mean? So
yes.
yeah, it still tear me up. And it's like, it put a halt in things because I had to quit the job because I couldn't be at work like that no more. I couldn't even, you know, begin to be at work and knowing that he not there no more when I was seeing him in the spot for like almost a year. And he did it in my kids' room. So had to throw stuff out. And I don't have them here as much as I used to just because I still feel like it's a dead dude and they playing around him. You know what I mean? Like that stuff is deep to me, but they still be here. I still make it a point to be a daddy throughout the week. You know what I mean? Like, hey, come spend some time with daddy. Y'all come play. Y'all lay around, chill, watch movies, stuff like that. But it's definitely a traumatizing experience. And I just know that people that's suicidal to that point, most of them don't want to be talked off a ledge,
Yeah. Yeah.
like you made that decision. I'm a real empathetic person, and suicide honestly was one of the hardest things that I could say I feel you too, because me personally, I never contemplated it. And I used to think that people that committed suicide were weak, but I had to mature. I'm like, if you make that guy, you got to be a strong one to take yourself out for real.
Right.
You got to
Yeah.
be strong, right? Like you got to be like, I don't think a weak person could do that. I don't think a weak person could do that. It's sad to know that he felt like that's what he had to do. You know what I mean? Like, all his car was paid off, his house was paid off. Like,
Dang.
here I am struggling, to maintain. So,
Yeah.
and I kept just one thing of his, you know what I mean, in his name. And they didn't, like, the people that knew him for 20 years or whatever didn't even tell me about a funeral service or nothing. It is, oh, he cremated already. Like, dang,
Wow.
you know what I mean? Like, it seemed like after a week, everybody went back to not being human anymore. First they went, oh, if you need time off work, or if you need anything, let us know. And next, the week following after that, oh, he cremated already. Like, dang, that's how y'all just gonna talk about him? You know what I mean? Like, that stuff deep, man. Yeah.
Yeah. So why do you think he killed himself? What was wrong with what was
Like I said, he was really depressed. I don't know what kind of medicines he was taking. I don't even know why he was so depressed. You know what I mean? He didn't have no kids or anything. He was a gay man, so he, you know what I mean. He didn't have any. Not that he couldn't have had kids, but he said he'd been gay since he was a kid. So, and that was my homie, man. I told him some work secrets like the night before. I was holding it in so much. I had nobody to talk to, and I was like, I could tell him, man. He ain't gonna tell nobody.
right? Yeah.
And I told him, and lo and behold, he took it to the grave. And
Literally, yeah.
like I said, I miss knowing that I'm gonna see him at work. I miss him calling me and be like, "Hey, you want to hang out?" You know what I mean? Like, I miss that stuff, man. And
Was what did the police say when they came to the house? What did they say to you? What questions did they ask?
just basic stuff, how old he was, and they didn't really do too much. They didn't do much investigation on me, at least. No, not much questioning. Just, I don't even know what they're doing. I looked at I seen them that one time, and I ain't go back upstairs. You know what I mean? Like, I was downstairs the entire time, just really just hysterical. It didn't even feel real.
Yeah, I can imagine. Boy,
That
that had to be a lot.
They told me he was definitely dead. I was hoping that he was just unconscious. By miracle, he would be unconscious. But he was definitely dead. And it was just heavy, man. It was just real heavy. He could have took out my uncle and my dog too. You know what I mean? He could have.
Yep.
But it wasn't about them.
Yep. He was definitely frustrated, sounds like.
This is what the cops told me. This is what made it worse. I don't he's trying to make it better. But apparently, he had a friend, one of the cops had a friend that he lost to suicide to, and he said that suicide victims usually do it in places where they feel like it's home. And that I gave him a home.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Wow, that's gotta be heavy. I think also as a part of if he was killed, people who are no longer living, those aren't the ones I worry about, because if he, took his life in your room, he's not there. He's no longer there. So I wouldn't let that bother you. But did you ever think about moving out of there, or did you? If it's still bothering you, I mean, some people it bothers. I mean,
Sometimes I feel delusional. Sometimes I feel like he is here. Sometimes I do. But I definitely considered moving. I could have did an emergency transfer, but I didn't know where they were going to move me, and I didn't want to be, in a worse spot in this complex because where I'm at is pretty decent, So
Okay.
I was just like, I'll tough it out.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, that takes tremendous strength. So I admire you for being able to share that, because that's not something easy to talk about, because that's something that who's prepared for that, I mean, yeah, that's got to be a lot, man. So I appreciate you sharing that with us. How did you call your mother? Would you tell her? Were you hysterical when you called her? Or?
She called me because I had to call Stasia. That's my second child's mother. I had to call her because the gun was in her name. I bought it, but it was in her name. So,
Okay.
I didn't want them to say, "Oh, you couldn't have it," because I had that misdemeanor on my name, so I couldn't buy a gun. And I just now got to a point where I can get my record expunged. So,
Okay.
I'm in the process of doing that.
Okay.
But like I said, it was in her name, so I told her what was going on. She called my mama, and my mama called me, and my mom,
Okay.
the police.
Wow. So how do you said it kind of left a big hole in his head? What kind of gun was it?
FN, little compact FN,
Oh,
9mm.
oh, is that what the cops have, 9mm?
Nah, theirs is like Tauruses or I don't know, but mine, I'm not gonna put it on the podcast. But I finally just got it back. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I just got it back. It was gone for like almost 2 months. They was doing the investigations or whatever.
How do you feel about guns now? Do you think guns are bad, or they say guns kill people, or is it people who can't fight have guns? What's your take on it?
Man, people who lost the spirit. This new generation they scared to get embarrassed. They scared to be recorded. They scared to get a little scratch. They scared to lose. So instead of all that, they just take care of their problem the best way they see fit. And I'm not gonna say I disagree or agree with it. I just think if y'all on the same page, if somebody y'all can fight it out, then so be it. Why people always got to die? But I don't think that guns are bad per se. I think people are irresponsible and forget, and sometimes people just treat guns like they toys.
Yeah. I personally don't like guns, man. I see people have become a different character when they have that weapon. They have a power that
Mhm.
just seemed like surreal. A friend of mine, he was a drug dealer, and he told me about. He said the first night he was working a 12-hour shift. He said they gave him a gun, and he said, "Man, when he gave me that gun, he said the power just kind of." He said, "I felt like I was a god." He said, "I felt like I was invincible. I wasn't worried about nothing no more that whole night." He said, "I was good, man." He said, "Anybody want some smoke? I was ready, man." He
Yeah.
says he found himself talking to people differently when they walk up to him, like, what you doing out here?" He says it just became different. He said
Yeah.
when he don't have his gun, he's able to be a more calmer person. So, one of my favorite books tells me live by the sword, die by the sword. So I try to avoid them. But Second Amendment gives people their rights. So I definitely can,
I think
appreciate
people just
that.
got their different reasons for carrying it. Like if I carry it, it's just because I don't know what somebody gonna be on. You know what I mean? Like I don't look
Mhm.
for trouble, but I noticed that some people might try you just because it's that time of the day. You know what I mean? So
Right. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I got a
Yep.
family to make it home too. So I don't start trouble and just I'm always cool though. You know what I mean? Like I'm cool. Like, bro, even if you thought you was about to rob me, we can talk about it. You know what I mean? Like like
Come on
like
upstairs. Let's sit down. Let's talk. Let's play the PS5 and let's just see what's going on.
I remember having a dream one time and I was getting robbed in my dream. And I'm like, bro, I'm really cool, bro. You ain't even gotta rob me. You can kind of just get this stuff just be about cool people, just being cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I had
Yeah.
one of those dreams one time. Like I'm really like out the way, man. I don't carry this gun to look cool and stay in a holster, and hopefully it can stay that way. But
Hmm.
I mean, I don't go looking for trouble. I'm just
Yeah.
paranoid. I live in the hood. You know what I mean? Like you never know what somebody could
Hmm.
be on. And then as a kid, we've gotten our house broken into before. It's not gonna happen to me. I got a lot of stuff to lose. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
School
Yes.
equipment, studio equipment, all kinds of electronics. Like I'm cool. Like just my livelihood. So
Hmm.
my dog here,
I
like I'm
remember.
dang, did somebody shoot my dog just because he barking at him from the other side of the fence? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
We're not
I had
doing.
a when I was getting one of my houses built one time, I moved in the ghetto to, 3 months while they were finishing up the house, an apartment over there. And they told me I was supposed to move to the third floor, and I was like, cool, I ain't gonna worry about it. I need renter's insurance. I'm up there, I'm good. So dudes, I moved in with the U-Haul that he said, I'm sorry, your apartment ain't ready. We have some problems, but I can move you in the first floor in the apartment down here. I had no choice, man. I got the U-Haul truck out there. I said, fine. He said, I give you 2 months free rent. I should have knew something was up then. I moved all my stuff in. I waited to midnight to move it in because I was in the ghetto. I'm expecting third floor. Man, they robbed me the next week, took all my stuff, vacuumed the carpet on their way out, had stuff looking good. Cop come over and told me, he said, it's your fault you got robbed. He said, you was trying to live like a king in the hood. So I said, okay. And I didn't even get mad, man. I just said, you know what? It was just my turn. Somebody's gonna get robbed every day. So this was just my turn. I didn't have no negative feelings. I didn't have no renter's insurance, nothing. I probably lost about 15,000 in that hit, but that's cool. I made it back. But I can't be mad at nobody for doing what they think is right. If you believe it, you got to do it. But I'm just trying to grow, man. That's all you can do. So it's a life we lead. But all right. Again, we're talking with Mr. Dumante Walters out of Indianapolis, Indiana, on the What's Up Aboard podcast. Mr. Walters, is there anything else you want to share with us before we end this show? Anything you want to tell us about you, the person, who you are, or what you do?
I am an upcoming artist first. I am definitely planning to be a game changer through music, through art, through love, whatever, through comedy.
You say gang banger or game changer?
Game changer.
Oh, okay. Okay, just can't say.
I don't do that.
Crips, I don't know.
People, but I don't judge them. I love them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, basically, I have a few content pages. I got Instagram, TikTok, my own YouTube channel. They are all by OG Nova Kane, and that's Kane with a K. So you can always find me looking that up anywhere. I'm streaming on every musical platform as well. I'm just trying to build a network with people. I want to have a session where I accept Q&A questions from people and shout them out as I pull the question from a hat or something. And I just want people to get to know me better. They can ask me any random question they want to, or personal questions. I'm gonna answer it. I'm supposed to be doing this with my brother, but I'm the only one that's taking this step, it seems like right now. But I don't think people want to know who you are. So if they got questions, they can always find me on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook.
Tell us that the website again. I want to make sure that everybody heard that clearly.
Well,
the website, the name,
YouTube, Instagram, Facebook.
I mean, the actual name, the spelling out of.
Oh, OG Nova Kane. OG.
Oh.
Yep, OG by itself, capital letters. Then Nova Kane is one word. NOVAKANE.
Yep.
And they can find
on all
me
platforms.
Everywhere.
What does that mean? OG Nova Kane. What does that mean? Anything or just?
When I first started making music, I used to call I didn't even have a name at first. And then I turned myself into King Nova. And obviously I felt like a king. And Nova, like super, I equate that word Nova with like supernovas, like fires, like how supernovas look when they explode,
Yeah.
They beautiful disasters. So but I end up my OG Nova Kane was an alias at first, and then I ended up switching it as I got older because I started feeling like a young OG. And,
okay.
And then also it's interchangeable. It's interchangeable, like only God, only God got the power to get me places, is what OG also stands for. Only God can do this, so. Right,
yeah.
And then Nova Kane, same thing applies, just a stronger version of that supernova. Kane, Kane, like, remember that? So yeah, like fire, like just beautiful, just beautiful, man. But always coming with that heat, always coming with it.
Gotta have that heat. Is anybody want to send a shout out to before we wrap this up? Hit my final thoughts.
Man, shout out to my OG for, guiding me into becoming the man I am today. And she still be on my case like I'm still living with her. But that's okay. Shout out to you for having me on the show. I definitely appreciate it. I enjoy this.
Yeah, definitely have you come back. We have you get down with us when we interview another couple people. You can do I'm doing a racism podcast soon, and I'm gonna invite you back. It's gonna be several people on the panel, and we're just gonna talk about life and just kick it like that. So I think you'd be a great guest on that. So I'm gonna have you back on that as well.
All right. Shout out Black Excellence.
Yes, sir. All right, let me go ahead and give my final thoughts. My final thoughts are real simple this time. I'm just going to say this, encourage everybody that talking things out often leads to better communication and healthier relationships. Remember, everyone has a story to tell. We just want to know yours. Again, we thank our special guest, Mr. Walters, on behalf of the What's Up Award podcast. And everybody out there, have a good one. Peace.